Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back with another video from Mother's Basement, and today we're checking out the best anime of winter 2023, ones to watch. Be interested to see which ones he recommends. I'm currently enjoying Trigun Stampede, Danmachi Season 4, and what's the other one? Near Automata, as of episode 2. But it'd be nice to see what else I should be checking out. So let's check it out. The best anime of winter 2023, ones to watch.
We had a rough start to the year down here in the basement. Like I landed
Oh yeah, not
in the
well.
hospital after some really bad
I saw on
pieces.
Twitter.
But as we all know, great anime makes everything better. So, long story short,
It
Yazzie
does.
and I are about 50 episodes deep into King of the Hill now. But
Oh wow.
between all that bedridden binging, plus unwilling purging, I still found time to watch every single new anime of the new season in order to find the 10 that are most worth your time. These are the ones to watch for winter 2022. And let's start with one of my most anticipated
yes,
anime.
this is
not
so
just
good.
This year, but the last few. Trigun
Stampede, yes.
As one of the holy
I've never seen the original
traders
Trigun.
Space Cowboys, the original Trigun holds a special place in the hearts of countless Gen X and
I've heard a lot of good
Millennial
things about it,
and
like
now, thanks to the incredible talent
Orange.
and technology of B-Star Studio Orange,
Yeah, man.
a whole new generation will have a chance to discover the bio
Done such a good job with the animation, man.
horrors of Planet Gunsmoke for themselves. Not to mention the inimitable
That
charms
scene.
of that goofball gunman with a heart of gold.
Incredible.
The $60 billion double-dollar man, Vash The Stampede.
It's so good. The animation's absolutely sick. That scene where he's running and everyone's shooting it, and it's all the camera work in that is just absolutely, oh, it blew me away.
He's also called the Humanoid Typhoon for his purported ability to destroy entire cities single-handed, but as intrepid reporters Meryl Streep and Roberto De Niro quickly discover when they meet him hanging around a local landmark, the man himself bears little resemblance to his reputation.
Yeah.
Far from a bloodthirsty killer, Vash can hardly stand the sight of the stuff. In a fun twist on classic Wild West action, this pacifistic pistolier only uses his unmatched aim to save lives, and most of the damage he gets blamed for is actually the fault of the countless desperados out for his bounty.
I mean, he can look after himself though as well. Like when he dodges that guy's like bullets and then just hits him around the back of the neck with his gun. Oh.
Though that specific detail did matter a lot more to these reporters back when they were insurance agents named Meryl Streep and Millie Thompson in the original.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Orange has made quite a few huge changes to this story for their retelling, shuffling around and replacing characters and plot points to center it more firmly on Vash as a relatable protagonist rather than an enigmatic force of nature.
See, I'll probably watch the original
Corny
after I
jokes.
finish
This
Stampede.
means that much of the mystery of the original has been lost in this new version, but in the quarter century since its debut, the cat has long been let out of the bag on pretty much every Trigun spoiler, so I'm actually pretty okay with that.
I literally have no clue. I have no idea about the story whatsoever, and I'm quite glad about that.
Remixed plot gives longtime fans like me a chance to be legitimately surprised again, to see Trigun's world and characters from a whole new angle, or rather, dozens of new angles per minute, thanks to all the breathtaking 3D animation, but let's not split hairs. It also means that new fans of this new show can go back to enjoy the classic story and gritty, hand-painted aesthetic of the original without either version feeling redundant, and that's an ideal I think every remake should strive for. Of course, reboots and remakes aren't the only way that good anime stories get another go-round. It's the nature of industrialized entertainment that whenever a novel high concept takes off, it's only a matter of time until it's knocked off. Usually a matter of years, not the 9 months it's been since Spy Family's explosive debut. But nonetheless, here Buddy Daddies is, and I am absolutely here for
is it worth watching?
Even though it's very clearly the result of someone saying, man, the only way the ladies could love this manga more is if there were two Lloyds, and then another someone's eyes immediately turning into cartoon yen signs. It's not quite one-to-one, obviously. That'd be boring. Rather than spies, these Lloyds, party animal Kazuki and gamer shut-in Ray, are professional assassins.
Oh,
and instead
cool.
of those hair cone thingies, their impossibly precocious, accidentally adopted daughter wears goggles.
Nice.
But still,
Cute.
fundamentally speaking, Buddy Daddies does everything a Spy Family fan going through postseason withdrawals could possibly want. Over the top, family friendly humor.
I only watched the first
cool,
episode of Spy
creative
Family, you know.
gunfights that give the animator.
I'm totally not like, I liked the first episode. I don't know why I didn't like watch it, but everyone just kept with it and loved it, and I don't know.
Endless opportunities to flex, and, of course, a top-tier gremlin. Just look at her. Our reaction GIF folder overflowing. Most importantly, though, Buddy Daddies has some real heart behind it to balance out all the comedy and action.
Animation looks good.
Plus, just a smidge of darkness to make its upbeat vibes shine all the brighter by contrast, which you might recall me calling out in my Spy Family video last year as the key ingredient in the series' secret sauce.
Didn't watch it.
One that Buddy Daddies wields deftly to create something with its own distinct flavor that still absolutely hits that Anya-shaped spot. If you're looking for more good vibes to brighten up your winter, look no further than Tomo-Chan is a Girl. The tale of a teen tomboy
it's
who
in my
just
queue.
wants her best
My friend
karate
Dan
pal,
recommended this.
Ichiro, to finally look at her as a woman. Unfortunately, the affable, rough-around-the-edges himbo stubbornly refuses to see Tomo as anything less than his ride-or-die bosom buddy for life.
I do like the concept of this. Like, they're such good friends that he just sees her as one of the boys.
Which it's heavily implied he's only doing to stop himself from thinking about his buddy's bosom and making stuff all weird. But then, ironically, that causes him to think there's nothing weird about tickling her out of nowhere. So, you know, he gets hit a lot, and it's hard to blame her, honestly. Though, to be fair to Jun, a fair amount of blame does also lie with Tomo's other best friend, Misuzu, who is much smarter than the both of them combined and thinks that toying with their feelings is absolutely hilarious. It is. She's my favorite. Tomo-Chan is just about the polar opposite of Sakura in every way you can imagine. The show that bears her name has a surprisingly similar vibe and sense of humor to Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, one of the funniest rom-coms ever made, if you haven't seen it.
Nope, not seen it.
If you haven't, fair warning, don't expect too much in the way of romantic catharsis or closure here for at least a while. It's kind of the joke. But it's a very good joke if you give it the chance, and far from the only thing this anime has going for it. With an instantly lovable cast of characters and a knack for subverting expectations in genuinely clever ways, Tomo-Chan is a Girl is definitely the rom-com to beat this season. Which is mighty impressive considering its competition. And my next recommendation is a brand new Jump adaptation. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. The story of a quiet loner with no friends and the pretty popular girl who gently prods him to come out of his shell. Yeah, between teasing Master Takagi-san, Tonari no Seki-kun...
I instantly thought, wait, who's the author? I recognize Kubo as a name. Isn't that the guy that did Bleach? It's like, wait, is this his backstory?
Don't Bully Me Nagatoro-chan and My Dress Up Darling.
Oh, My Dress Up Darling is so good.
It can be hard to shake the feeling that you've seen this anime before, but the central joke of our hero, Junta Shiraishi, being such a nothing background character that most people literally can't see him and think of him as some sort of cryptid is novel and clever. And the series gets some really good mileage out of it, particularly in its visual gags, which really sing
Stretchy
to the manga's strong, simple character design and Studio Pine Jam's characteristically fun, energetic animation. But of course, the real star of the show has her name in the title. Nagisa Kubo, played pitch perfectly by the legendary Hanazawa, is one of the only people in the show's world who can see Junta when he's not calling attention to himself. And that suits her just fine, as she finds the world's reaction to his presence, or lack thereof, and his reactions to pretty much any kind of unexpected stimuli, really, to be endlessly entertaining.
That does look funny, actually.
That utterly baffle our hero, and which our heroine is super coy about, yet which anyone past puberty will instantly suss out. She likes you, dummy! Between those shows and a few more in the bargain bin at the end, this is a hell of a season for lovers of romance. But I think the real winners this winter are fantasy.
Oh, what we got? What we got?
Like, if I cared less about diversifying my recommendations, I could have easily filled this entire
I want to
list
see if he's got
with terrific tales of
Right, before he continues, I'm hoping either High Card or Revengers is going to be on this, because I am going to check out episode 1 of High Card and Revengers today, and I'll be even more excited if Jeff is recommending those.
magic and monsters. And the real crazy part is, less than half of those are isekai. Heck, they're not even isekai adjacent. I'm talking fully original stories set in fully original worlds that don't need anyone to get reincarnated or Alice in Wonderland
crazy.
Kicked out of their old adventuring
What
party
are you
before
talking
they get
about? That
rolling.
can't be done.
And there's not an RPG stat screen in sight.
No.
Fire Hunter, for
Oh,
instance,
okay.
shows us a distant and fantastical future
Ooh, I like the animation.
mankind has finally doused the flames of war, though not by choice. A horrible weapon used in our last great conflict left our entire species susceptible to spontaneous combustion in the presence of even the smallest embers. Thus, to make the gears of industry and civilization turn once again, humanity has been forced to turn to a new source of energy: liquid fire. The blood of great and terrible beasts lurking in a dark forest which now blankets much of the earth, that can only be harvested by a select group of brave warriors known as fire hunters. When a young girl named Toko foolishly gets one of these hunters killed by wandering into the woods undetected, it becomes her duty to escort his hunting dog back to the capital. A long and dangerous journey, even in one of the few armored vehicles humanity has left.
Okay,
but
like
one
this.
that may well set her on the path to finding Hikari no O, the Firecatcher Lord. A fabled figure who, it is said, will one day harvest the great wandering spark that has circled the Earth since the last war. With a script penned by the Ghost in the Shell goat himself, Mamoru Oshii.
I'm remembering Giguk's video where he watched everything there.
Look at it. It's a storybook come to life.
Yeah, the old school.
Fire Hunter is easily one of the most immersive, enrapturing, and original works of fantasy we've seen come out of the anime industry in ages.
It does look very old school like, and I think that makes it stand out. It looks great, but it looks like late 90s, early noughties, like anime style.
And best of all, it's not alone. Giant Beasts of Ours, as its Japanese title Ars no Kyoju subtly suggests, is set in a similar world to that of Shingeki no Kyojin, specifically before the 8 billion twists kick in. A world where humanity must hide her cities behind towering walls in fear of the massive humanoid monstrosity
very similar.
that stalk the lands beyond. Unlike in Attack on Titan, though, our species hasn't quite been pushed to the brink by these wandering beasts. Thanks to human ingenuity and just a smidge of divine power granted by clerics channeled through the blades of mighty warriors known as paladins, people have been able to fend the great beasts off and even hunt them for resources, building enough of a foothold in the process to have nations and trade and politics and whatnot, all of which are presumably complicated by the need to do them around big giant monsters. Also, they've got wars and empires and all that other fun and epic fantasy, but not so much in real life.
Hey, it looks good as well.
Also complicated by the presence of giant monsters. Giant Beasts of Ours gets a lot of stuff really right out of the gate, with a strong grasp of character and some solidly tense action scenes. But what really sold me on the show is how rich, vast, and lived in it's able to make this world feel in the space of just 22 minutes. all without feeling like it's rushing the main plot along or slowing it down for the sake of exposition. It's just got that sense of capital A adventure about it that defines all my favorite tales of swords and sorcery, with the animation team delivering some capital A action to match. Speaking of, let's take a break from sorcery, but not swords for a second.
Oh, okay.
To shine a spotlight on
Revenger! Right, so he's recommended it. I am so looking forward to watching this.
Revenger. Not to be confused with Tokyo Revengers, which also has a new season this season, out now on Disney Plus for some reason.
What?
Also, sorry if that lead-in misled any...
I'm sure I saw it was on Crunchyroll. Is it on Disney? Oh, they are being sneaky little sly ones, aren't they?
Vinland Saga fans out there. I promise we will cover both seasons of that in another video very soon.
Sick. I am starting that soon as well.
Kurima is the last true
This looks
samurai of
boss.
the Edo period. So loyal to his lord that even when he discovers his own father-in-law is the one working with the opium smugglers, he doesn't hesitate to bring the criminal down.
Whoa.
Which makes it kinda awkward when said lord's opium smuggling henchgoons attempt to buy his silence with bullets, but luckily he's rescued by a group of professional revenge takers who need his help to plan a revenge heist on his old boss and eventually hire him on as one of their own, joining them on their ongoing revenge adventures. From there, it's basically The Great Pretender, but
I love how he is just like, he's doing it to be funny, like throwing in the word revenge as much as he can. Jeff's so good at writing his scripts.
instead of conning bad people out of their money, they stab them. Born from the same mind as Madoka Magica and Psychopaths, Revenger represents Gen the Urobutcher Urobuchi in his element. Intrigue, melodrama, and buckets of blood. Which is always at least a good foundation for an anime, and probably more than that as long as he's actually writing it himself. And as for how that foundation is built upon, well, I think the action and direction in Revenger really speak for themselves.
My God.
And given the rarely explored period it's set in, the last days of the samurai, when their descendants grew fat, suckling at the teats of Western empires, and began work on an empire of their own, one built in part on the back of the opium trade. Fun fact.
Fun fact, indeed.
Of substance to back that style up. Whether you look for cool, dumb sword fights or cool, smart historical narratives in your samurai media, Revenger is shaping up to be the complete Kurosawa package. Okay, sounds neat, but
sounds
what if you
good.
want to flip it around and enjoy some sorcery without the swords? Well, High Card, a new original anime born from the mind of Takegarui's Kawamoto, has you covered in style. At first blush, High Card's world, the Kingdom of Forland, seems much like
sounds
our own,
boss.
only a little more vague.
Like, I just saw it was about gambling, and I'm like, no, because I hated Kakaguri. I really didn't like it. And I was like, I don't want to watch another bloody card game gambling anime. But then when Giguk was describing the narrative when he was going through his I watched every anime video, this sounds boss, so I'm glad that he's actually going to show like clips now.
Or Monte Carlo-y, depending on the region you're in. Regardless, it's a land of fast, fancy cars and bright neon lights, with all the weapons and tech that exists in our own world, but one key difference to make things interesting. Or, 52 key differences, depending on how you look at it. X playing cards. Powerful artifacts which grant their holders unique magical abilities.
That was sick.
Ranging from unlimited uncanny luck to summoning a gun to turning everything they touch to marbles. That last one is much scarier than it sounds. Our hero, a streetwise young pickpocket named...
It's like, sorry, but it reminds me of that old Skittles advert where the guy who, like, everything he touches turns to Skittles. Like, he touches the desk and it just falls apart. Yeah.
Finn gets sucked into this world of X-card players when his plan to save the orphanage by winning big at the casino goes very, very wrong. But as the newest member of High Card, an elite group of extremely handsome secret agents masquerading as luxury car salesmen and tasked by the king with recovering the scattered cards to restore order to the world, he might just be able to keep a roof over those kids' heads. That is, if he can hang on to his own head as they do battle with the super-powered soldiers of rival car
What a
companies
mad random
and
one, though. So
mafia.
it turns
High
stuff to
Card is
marbles.
one of those anime that just oozes fun out of every frame. And a perfect
Sounds
example
awesome.
of what fantasy anime can be when it's not afraid to break the mold. Don't think Isekai is just lying down and taking it this season, though, because I've got a pair of equally fun
It's
and
one of them that I'm a
relatively original
30-year-old
Portal fantasies
chilling
to
something
recommend
or
to
other.
you today. The first of which, Campfire Cooking in Another World with my absurd skill, is perfect for when you want to lie down and take it easy.
Okay.
Summoned to another world on accident alongside the actual trio of
Oh,
destined
that's
demon
class.
defeaters, it initially seems like Mukoto Tsuyoshi has gotten the short end of the cheatability stick. I mean, next to divine magic and the power of the hero, Net Super sounds pretty darn lame if we're being honest. But if you think about it for even a second, the ability to exchange fantasy money for anything one might find in a typical modern Japanese online
All right.
supermarket
Cool.
is way more useful than any of that crap when it comes to day-to-day life
That's
in the medieval
boss.
world.
Oh my god.
And it leaves you with zero obligation to fight any demons or save that world. Assuming that even is the hero's real job and the corpulent, jewel-encrusted monarch who summoned them isn't just using them as political pawns to enrich his own kingdom, which it super-duper seems like he is. So just to be safe, as soon as he's out of the castle, Mukoda makes a beeline for the nearest border before it closes.
Run away.
The first step in a long and lackadaisical journey that's sure to be interrupted with countless shots of unfathomably succulent anime food
Yo,
porn and filled end to
anime
end
food
with
just looks-
cozy JRPG hangout vibe.
Anime food always looks so good. Like, I'll never forget Giguk's food in anime video where it starts off with the thing and then he tries to make it and it looks absolutely rubbish. Oh, food in anime is just, I'm so hungry now.
Relaxing, funny, and thoroughly wholesome, with a surprisingly sharp mind for politics on its shoulders. Even when it comes to isekai, fantasy fans
God.
are eating this winter in more ways than one.
That
But my
looks so good.
favorite new flavor of this season, the magical revolution of the reincarnated princess and the genius young lady,
Wow, that's a
has
long one.
all that and more, including a genuinely original, seriously clever premise, and I don't just mean for an isekai. It doesn't even let on that it is an isekai at first, instead trusting its audience to figure it out from how the characters interact. Reincarnated into a world of wonder from her old life as a fantasy-loving otaku, yet denied her dream of flight as the one member of the royal family who doesn't have an ounce of magical talent, the brave and
Oh, God.
brash Princess Anisphia finds another way. Leveraging her knowledge of modern earthly science in conjunction with her family's vast magical resources, she's able to develop a new field of study called magicology, which has the potential to bring power to the people like this world has never seen before. But that potential is only realized when her life becomes intertwined with Euphelia Magenta, a magically gifted genius debutante who was betrothed to her brother, Prince Algard, before he tried to frame her for several different crimes and call off their marriage so he can hook up with a commoner.
Oh.
Just like one of my Japanese otomes, which really
Fair,
sucks for
fair.
Euphelia, but ultimately only frees her up to lend her incredible magical mind and reputation to Anasphia's world-shaken research. And also to, I mean, you can see how these girls are blushing at each other. I don't gotta tell you what kind of anime this is. Honestly,
Nice.
though, it's the magic science shit that I'm here for. And if this animation team can keep delivering those incredible Sakuga payoffs to
Yo.
Euphelia and Anasphia's magic inventing and adventuring, I think I'll be here for 12 straight episodes, pretty much no matter what the rest of the anime does. I do hope that their revolution also involves changing this stuffy aristocratic society's minds about girls kissing and getting married and stuff, though, because they're nice kids and they deserve the best, as do you, which is why I just gave it to you.
Nice.
Those were the ones to watch for winter 2020.
Awesome.
But as usual, they're not the only shows worth watching this season.
Honorable
Don't
mentions.
mind a few minor defects, so let's go rooting through the bargain bin. if you have any kind of passion for great animation and also a very, 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 very strong tolerance for anime bullshit, Onimai, the story of a 20-something otaku shut-in whose super scientist sister turns him into a middle school girl to cure his depression, is easily one of the most uniquely gorgeous anime I've ever seen.
Does look
and the
good.
story is actually super wholesome too, once you get past all the bullshit. Just be forewarned, there's a lot of bullshit. On the flip side, if you want something bullshit-free and don't mind some rough edges to the animation production, Ippon again portrays an all-girls high school judo club with some remarkably naturalistic dialogue. That's also a quality I was surprised to find in Unite Up. I'm not normally into male idol anime at all, but this one has an invigorating, sort of shonen sports vibe about it that goes a long way to offset all the male idoliness and actually got my blood pumping in a few places. Or, if you're sick of shows about teenagers and want something more adult, The Ice Guy and his cool colleague offers mature workplace romance in the vein of Wotakoi with a fun, fantastical twist.
Oh my god, what? Move it up.
Speaking of, as I said earlier, quite a few great fantasy anime just barely missed the cut this winter, including Kaina of the Great Snow Sea, an original story from Polygon Pictures reminiscent of Miyazaki's Nausicaa, with some of the most breathtaking and imaginative environments you'll see all year. Then there's Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, the story of a young and naive wannabe candy chef trying to navigate a dark and surprisingly dangerous world where fairies have been enslaved by mankind. By a similar token, Tale of Outcasts follows a Victorian orphan who's saved from a short life of torture and servitude by an unusually friendly dude.
The fairy one.
Handyman Saito in Another World is a charming, character-driven RPG parody comedy with an earthy, painterly art style that feels distinctly Tolkien-esque. Farming Life in Another World is basically one of those anime where a guy works himself to death and gets to live in Dragon Quest as a reward, only replace Dragon Quest with Rune Factory. And Endo and Kobayashi Live, the latest on tsundere villainess Lisa Lott, features one of the most unique and clever framing devices I've seen in an isekai. Two friends discover that the main love interest in their favorite fantasy dating sim can somehow hear their Let's Play commentary on the game's story, allowing them to change that story through him in order to save the doomed villainess who is both of their favorite character.
Okay, that actually sounds quite interesting. That's actually her.
As for I Can't Believe It's Not Isekai anime, Reborn to Master the Blade, From Hero King to Extraordinary Squire, is similar to a lot of other anime with similar titles, and with the Misfit at Demon King Academy back, I'm not exactly excited for it. Plus, it features, on the whole, way too much exposition, but I'll be damned if the action scenes, at least, don't fully live up to that title. On that note, Nier Automata version 1.1a adapts the game of the same name into some of the most breathtakingly beautiful action sakuga out there. Nier fans will definitely love this.
Yeah, I feel like if you're a fan of the game, you're gonna really like this. I don't know anything about the game. The first episode, I'm glad I stuck with it, because the first episode I really didn't like. I felt the CG was quite off-putting, and I had no idea what the story was whatsoever. Episode 2 just sold it to me. I am sticking with it. The animation, the story, everything in episode 2 was just absolutely phenomenal.
Anime, but unfortunately, with the way it's paced and structured, if you're not a fan already, it gives you very little reason to start caring about the game's world or characters. And its use of in-game models for CGI looks just plain ugly.
Yeah, it's not great.
And also least, I'm not gonna pretend like Technoroid Overmind, a show about 4 android roommates who decide to become male idols to pay the rent, is good on any level, but you should watch the first episode all the way through to the post-credits scene anyway. Preferably with a lot of friends and or alcohol. It is something else, I'll tell you what. Okay, with that, we've really reached the end. I hope these recommendations have made your winter just that little bit brighter. If they did and you want to thank me for my service, remember
making me
you've
feel
got
better
till
about
February 3rd at noon PST
my
to
choices
pre-order
of
my YouTubes
things
at
I
the
want
link
to watch.
below. Or if you want to make your winter a little darker instead, don't forget to check out my rundown of the worst anime of 2022 if you haven't seen it already. I'm Jeff Thu, your humble guide to anime, wishing you the best in this new year.
Wow. So yeah, I'm gonna check out Revenger and High Card then. Oh mate, I'm glad you recommended them because I've got them in the queue. I'm very apprehensive about checking them out, and might do some. Yeah, here's another one. So if you search for me on TikTok, every time I watch an episode of anything now, or every time I read a manga chapter or anything, I'm doing just like a 60-second review overview of what I think and how cool it is, or things that have happened. Like with One Piece, every time there's a chapter out, I did Boruto, I did Dragon Ball Super, and then every time I'm watching new episodes of stuff, I'm just putting it out, and I'm also re-uploading old reaction videos to TikTok as well. So there's stuff happening over there, and as you can see, there's stuff happening here as well. I'm making changes and trying to improve upon certain things. The keyboard's there for a reason that will be apparent later in the year. Yeah. So anyway, thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video I upload, link in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask to support the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you guys very much for that, and thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't, leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. I'll see you guys, all you guys, next time. Bye.